Bodmin Moor, Cornwall. Inland Cornwall boasts many wild places, but the 100 square miles of Bodmin Moor form by far the broadest wild expanse in the Duchy. Like Dartmoor over the border in Devon and the remote moors of Penwith in West Cornwall, Bodmin Moor is founded on granite, a rock that always seems to lend a sombre tone to an open landscape. Hello, I'm Colin Green and you are listening to Spike Pit. There are wide patches of bog where the bright green or yellow sphagnum moss can quickly suck you in, and plenty of granite plates piled totem-like into tors on the hilltops. A good introduction to the lonely and captivating atmosphere of Bodmin Moor is to climb up Rough Tor, pronounced Rota, the second highest point on the moor at 1,311 feet, from whose summit you can see and easily reach Cornwall's highest peak, Brown Willy, 1,375 feet. Setting off on foot from the car park at the end of Rota Road, a clear path leads you up in the northwest flank of Rough Tor. On either side of the path lie stone circles nearly 20 feet in diameter, the remaining foundations of the homes of the Bronze Age farmers who wrestled a living from this bare landscape some 4 millennia ago. The summit of Rough Tor is piled with stacks of granite worn smooth and round-edged, undercut by wind and weather so that they appear to be resting one on another with very little to prevent them toppling over. In a couple of cases they are actually rocking stones, their site of contact with the stone below worn away to such a narrow point that you can rock a slab weighing many tons just by pushing down on its edge. It's an easy descent down the east slope of Rough Tor to cross the Delank River, and from here 20 minutes uphill will put you on top of Brown Willy and reward you with a splendid view of brown moorland shading in the distance into green farmlands and bounded in the northwest by a line of cliffs, and then the sea some 10 miles away. Turn off to the left on your return journey just before reaching the car park to find the stone column of weathered lichen encrusted granite that forms the Charlotte Dimmond Monument. Charlotte was a young domestic maid murdered on a Sunday morning in April 1844 by her fellow servant Matthew Weeks as she walked over the moor. The lonely bleakness of the scene adds to the poignancy of this place.
Hey Colin, really enjoying your RPG a day offerings. I love that you're incorporating them into your vacation with your family and giving us, almost in a way, like a tour of England and Cornwall specifically in your last one. It's very fascinating, and one of these days I hope to travel over there to England and visit the Isles. I don't know, hopefully in the next few years as this pandemic ends and I save up some money to go visit you all over there. Keep it up. I really like them. I do. I like one of the first ones I hit. I guess it's in order of time zone, right? So first Jules, and then yourself, and then the guys in the U.S. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
Alas, my movement around the country has come to an end. I'm back home with the family. Carl, I'm glad you're enjoying hearing about the travels, and I'm keeping the Cornwall theme going with some tales from Bodmin. Started the show with a reading from Britain and Ireland's Best Wild Places by Christopher Somerville, and I will close the show out with another reading about Bodmin. Hopefully these will provide some inspiration for you DMs out there, or players even, when you're visualising the scenes and settings that often crop up in our role-playing hobby. The Fabled Coast, Legends and Traditions from Around the Shores of Britain and Ireland is by Sophia Kingshill and Jennifer Westwood. If, Carl, you manage to get to the UK, this is the type of thing you've got in store for you. Bodmin, Cornwall, a sea above the earth. Riding from Bodmin towards Foy one evening in May 1580, a company of gentlemen saw a wonderful sight in the sky, described in detail in John Stow's Chronicles of England 1580. First, in the northeast there appeared a great fog, much like unto the sea, and out of it a castle emerged. Then a fleet of ships came sailing across, looking very warlike, and a second battalion from the southwest. 3 or 4 galleys followed with smaller boats in their wake, a procession that continued for around an hour. The sight of the sky ships was by no means unique, though it was always reported as a marvel. This example sounds like an unusual cloud display, and other more remarkable phenomena have been explained as mirages. Observers, however, sometimes interpreted such visions as proof that there was a sea above the earth, mirroring the one below. The idea of the world as a solid island in the midst of waters over and under it is common to many mythologies and appears in Genesis, where we are told that when creating the world, God divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. In 9th century France, many educated people thought that in the air was a country called Magonia, from which cloud ships would sail to carry off the corn beaten down in storms, making a profit for the sorcerers called the Tempestari, who raised the gales and then sold the ruined crops to the sky sailors. A more specific account by the medieval historian Gervase of Tilbury relates how some people leaving a church saw a cable stretching from sky to earth, attached at the bottom to a ship's anchor caught on a tombstone, while the top was invisible, disappearing into thick cloud. The rope was straining as if something above was tugging at it, and soon a man came climbing down it from the clouds. He freed the anchor but was then seized by the onlookers and died in their hands, suffocated by the humidity of our dense air as if he were drowning in the sea. About an hour later the rope tumbled to earth, cut from above. The anchor remained where it was, and the citizens converted it into fastenings for their church door. Very similar events were reported in Ireland in the 8th and 10th centuries, while another tale from Gervase implies that the aerial sea was continuous with our own oceans, though far distant. A Bristol sailor on a long voyage happened to drop his knife overboard one morning. That very hour it fell through an open window in the roof of the citizen's own home, the kind of window which the English call a skylight, and stuck fast in a table which stood beneath it before the eyes of his wife. She recognised it immediately, and when her husband came home they compared dates and found that he had dropped it and she had received it in the same hour of the same day, which Gervase takes as incontrovertible evidence of an ocean either in the air or above the air. And that, as they say, is a wrap. Big thanks goes out to you, the listener, for taking a bit of time out of your day to listen to Old Spike Pit. Take care, and I'll catch you later.